All right, let's move on to the last point from English learning journey. Ending conversations politely.
Yeah.
They have this example, maybe. It was great talking with you. Yes, same here. Let's catch up again soon.
Yeah.
Definitely. Take care. You too, bye.
Seems simple enough.
It does, yeah.
But anything else we should keep in mind?
It's a great example of leaving a good impression, keeping that connection going.
Right.
But, what you say at the end, it depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
And what kind of conversation you were having.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Take care is good for a casual chat. But if it's more formal, maybe it'd say something like, it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Right. So reading the situation, adapting your language.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Now, you've been, really diving into this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you also sent some extra sources, which I think add a whole other layer to this.
Okay.
Like one of them is this article, Beyond the Script, The Unspoken Rules of English Conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
And it talks about how culture really affects how we communicate,
Oh, absolutely.
So the dialogues we've been looking at,
Yeah.
they're a good starting point.
Yeah.
But in real life, it's way more nuanced. It is. There's so much that goes on beyond just the words.
Exactly. And this article talks about something called turn-taking, which I found really fascinating.
Turn-taking, yeah, it's huge.
What is that?
It's like that unspoken agreement of when it's your turn to talk, when it's your turn to listen.
Oh, okay.
And it's different in different cultures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some cultures, it's totally fine to interrupt.
Okay.
Other cultures, it's super rude.
So how do you, if you're learning English,
Right.
How do you know?
That's where you got to pay attention, Observe how people are interacting.
Okay.
Are there pauses between speakers?
Mm-hmm.
Do they use specific phrases to show they're done talking?
Oh, okay. So it's like, watching and learning.
Yeah, the more you observe, the better you'll understand those unwritten rules.
Okay, so it's like cracking a code.
Kind of, yeah.
And the article also talks about nonverbal communication, which we talked about a little with directions.
Yeah.
But how important is that really? It's essential. Facial expressions, gestures, your tone of voice.
Okay.
All of it adds to what you're saying.
Right.
And just like turn-taking, these can be really different depending on the culture.
Right. What might be friendly in one culture
Exactly.
might be totally different somewhere else.
Totally different. Yeah.
So how do you avoid those kinds of misunderstandings, especially if you're, talking to people from all over the place?
Wow. Just be aware. Be adaptable. Pay attention to how they're communicating.
Okay.
Both what they say and how they act.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right. So it sounds like being a good listener and good observer.
Absolutely.
Is key. Okay. Now, you also sent some excerpts from a book called The Art of Conversation, Mastering Small Talk and Beyond.
Oh, yeah?
Which I think adds another piece to all of this. It talks about the psychology of conversation and how small talk, some people think it's superficial.
Yeah.
But it actually has this really important purpose. It does. It helps us find common ground, build that rapport,
right.
Connect with each other.
Okay.
It's those little chats that can lead to deeper conversations.
Okay, so it's like the foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
And the book says small talk is a skill, something you can learn and get better at.
Absolutely. Like anything, it takes practice.
Right. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly.
Okay. And they give some tips. For example, they say you should try to find common ground by asking those open-ended questions.
Right.
And really listening to the answers.
Yeah. Active listening. It shows you're interested.
Right.
And helps you connect.
So it's not just talking. It's about really engaging.
Totally.
Okay. And they also talk about being aware of your body language and your tone of voice.
Uh-huh.
You want to seem open and approachable.
That's so important. Non-verbal cues can either make people want to talk to you or not.
So it's like you're sending these signals even if you don't realize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we talked about why small talk is important.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, it can be kind of awkward sometimes.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Any tips on how to, make it feel more natural?
Well, one thing that helps me is to think of it as a way to learn something new.
Okay.
Be curious. Be genuinely interested in the other person.
Okay.
Ask questions, listen to their answers,
Yeah.
and try to find things you have in common.
Okay, and what about those, awkward silences?
Oh, those happen.
They happen to everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Okay, good.
Don't let it make you feel weird.
Right.
Just take a breath, refocus, and find something else to talk about.
Right, so it's about, shifting your mindset and seeing it as an opportunity, not something to be afraid of.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's about like changing how you think about it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. We've covered a lot in this deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, practical dialogues, cultural stuff, the psychology of small talk.
It's been great.
It's been awesome. You've given us a lot to think about.
Yeah. And I think we've given our listeners some really good tools,
Yeah.
to feel more confident
Yeah.
and comfortable
Yeah,
with
yeah.
those everyday conversations in English.
Totally. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about something I know a lot of people struggle with,
Okay.
which is the fear of making mistakes.
Oh, yeah. The fear of making mistakes. It can really stop people from, even trying.
Right, right.
But here's the thing. Everyone makes mistakes,
Okay.
especially when you're learning a new language.
Right.
It's totally normal.
It's like learning to ride a bike, right?
Exactly. You're going to fall a few times
Yeah.
before you get the hang of it.
And the key is to just,
Get back up and keep practicing.
yeah. And the more you use the language, the more comfortable you'll get.
Exactly.
And the less you'll, worry about those mistakes.
And you'll make fewer of them, too.
Right, right. And that book we were talking about, The Art of Conversation,
Yeah.
they actually talk about that. They say, see mistakes as a chance to learn.
Oh, that's good.
And they even say, like, use humor
Yeah.
to make it less awkward.
Oh, I like that.
So if you mess up, just laugh it off.
It shows you're confident, you know? You're comfortable with yourself.
Right.
And it can make the conversation more fun for everyone.
So don't stress about those little slip-ups.
Right.
Just see them as, part of getting better.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like the one big piece of advice you'd give to our listener who's trying to, really master these everyday conversations?
I'd say enjoy the process. Learning a language takes time.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Don't be scared to make mistakes. Try new things. Put yourself out there. The more you use English, the more confident and fluent you'll become.
I love that. That's great advice. And remember, every time you talk to someone, it's a chance to practice and get better. So go out there, connect with people, and enjoy, the power of communication.
Absolutely.